Hey, friends, and welcome to another episode of the Level Up podcast. I'm your host, Taylor Petrinovich, and I'm joined by my co host, Kelly Gilster.
Hello, everyone. Taylor, how are you on this super rainy day in California?
I'm good. If anyone is listening and been keeping up with the news, we just experienced quite the storm here in California. They were calling it what an atmospheric river or something like that. Just like all the rain, all the wind. But I have to say, like with the other 11 months of the year being sunny and 75, we really can't complain too much. How are you, Kelly? I know that you have your first wedding of the year coming up here in just a few weeks.
We do. We are kicking off our very first wedding at the end of February. It's going to be incredible. A 3-day event. We're doing a Thursday rehearsal dinner, a Friday welcome party, and then a big 12-hour wedding day on Saturday. It's going to be great. Amazing team. I'm excited for who's doing photo, who the planner is. It's a planner who we have a longstanding relationship with. And um, it was a $22,000 video investment. So it's always great to start off the year. We're growing too. Our average has increased, a lot since just a couple of years ago and even last year. Taylor and I always say that, yes, our heart is to help people reach the luxury market, but Taylor and I are not done growing in our businesses too. And so as we're scaling from that mid-level luxury, I would say is where Paul and I typically serve. We have our sight set on the upper level and ultra luxury market too. So we're just continuing to grow and build from there, and it's exciting to see. So I can't wait to show you guys. I'll definitely be posting a lot of behind the scenes from this one. I'll put it on Instagram so that I can take you guys along with me on some key moments throughout the weekend.
Yeah. So if you're not already following us on Instagram, we are at the Level Up Co. We would love to have you be a part of our community on Instagram. We've been putting out a ton of great education, and honestly, I feel like that's our primary social platform. So go give us a follow. And while we're on the topic of Instagram, something exciting is happening in just 2 days. If you're listening to this on the day it comes out, on Thursday, February 15th, we are doing our very first ever free live Instagram reviews. So we're going to do a live stream in our Facebook group. And if you want to submit your Instagram profile for us to review for this event, you can go to thelevelupco.com/Instagram reviews. There's an S at the end, and submit. And when we would love to possibly review your Instagram. And even if you don't want to have yours reviewed, I think it'd be a great opportunity to watch the video or watch the live stream, tune in, because I think you're going to learn a lot that will still apply to your profile and your own social strategy, even if you don't want to have yours reviewed in this live setting. So join us on Thursday, February 15th. It'll be in our Facebook group. The link is in the show notes or in the description box below if you're watching on YouTube. And without further ado, we're going to introduce our guest for today's episode. We brought on Summer of Summer Films, who is such a little ray of sunshine. She is based in Alabama, and she has done a beautiful job of growing her business over the last 10 years. But I feel like over the last 12 months is really when she's hit her stride in terms of achieving her goals, and she's well on her way to serving the luxury market. I think sometime during our interview, she said that her starting price is in, the ballpark of like $7,500, which is awesome, with collections capping around like 11,000. So huge applause to Summer, and we can't wait to share her interview with you guys. This is the Level Up Podcast. I'm Taylor Petrinovich.
And I'm Kelly Gilster of 618 Studios.
And we are on a mission to help wedding filmmakers and photographers level up their businesses so you can make more and work less.
We want to help you confidently take your business from mainstream to luxury, and it all starts right here. Well, hey, Summer, we are so excited for having you on today. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thank you guys for having me.
Yeah. So for those of you guys who may not know Summer, this is Summer Jones with the Summer Films. Can you walk the listeners through kind of where you're based and how long you've been in business?
Yes, so I am actually based in Auburn, Alabama. It's about 2 hours from Atlanta and Birmingham. So kind of in the middle, but also close to the beach. So it's a nice little balance. I know most of you guys probably haven't been to Alabama, so it's in there. But yeah, I have been in business for about, I would say it's been almost 10-ish years. It's been since high school, so it's been a while.
Amazing. How fun. And I just have to say, Kelly and I are pretty, we know your business intimately, and we've been keeping tabs on your website and your Instagram and everything. And we just have to say your work and your branding and everything is so beautiful. So if you guys are not already following Summer, go check her out. Everything will be linked in the show notes. She's worth a follow. But we're really excited to dig into your story. Obviously, with a decade in business, I'm sure you have a lot of wisdom and insight to share. But we would love to kind of rewind to where seeking out like this higher level of the wedding industry started for you. Like, I know that there's a bit of a story there that we would love to hear.
Yeah, so I'll just start where I want to say when I got engaged. I just have filmed well, I didn't film, but I went to the wedding film retreat, the one in Mexico with the pin weddings and all that. And was surrounded by a bunch of awesome videographers, and it kind of changed my mind because I was kind of tired of weddings, honestly, because I've been doing it for a while, but I wasn't, I was doing budget weddings and it wasn't fulfilling. And I honestly moved to Atlanta for a little bit, try to seek out the film industry there. COVID hit and it didn't work out. And then I got engaged. So I was going to get married during COVID, and the whole trying to plan a wedding during COVID was hard. And, you meet a lot of vendors, and it kind of just, once you get married, your mind shifts on weddings and marriage in general, honestly, because before weddings, I didn't have the slightest idea of like really what it meant. So, um, after that, it really changed my perspective. I was like, wow, wedding films actually do mean more than they have to me since high school. So, uh, fast forward a little bit, I started second shooting for the Film Poets. And if y'all don't know them, they're amazing. Matt and Pacey, they're actually based in Birmingham. So we're not too far from each other. And I asked them if they needed help, like associate shooting, just on the whim. I was just interested if I wanted to get more into the higher, even the lovely weddings, like just some things so I could learn and just build up, this new passion I had for wedding films since getting married. And he let me tag along, and actually ended up shooting for him pretty often. And we would fly out to like Vegas and Napa. We shoot weddings out there, while his wife, actually, she usually is a second shooter, but she just had a baby. And so they have 3 kids now. And she's kind of picking it back up again. So I kind of was there to help while uh, he needed the help. So, anyways, rambling on about that. But it was just nice to see that side of weddings. I was like, oh my gosh, he was shooting these crazy weddings with crazy money. It's just nothing I've never seen before. And um, he wouldn't shoot that much. And I was like, that's gotta be nice because he's at home with his kids, most weekends. And also if they have destination weddings, he's taking his kids with them. Like, it's just fun, that travel aspect of things. So I was really inspired by that. And fast forward a little bit more, I started working with a planner a lot last year that shoots more like entry level luxury, I want to say. And it just kind of grew a relationship. But I was like, this one relationship isn't going to cut it. I need more. And she told me, I went to one of her like workshops one day, and she was like, you almost had this one client book you, but your website was outdated and your logo. And I really was trying to sell you, but they just wouldn't buy it. And I was like, oh, okay, I need to do something. So I, saw where Taylor and Kelly, they were working on the mastermind. And honestly, I wanted to get the first round. I think I reached out to them. I was like, dang, I missed it. And then the second round, I was like, please. I was like a day late, I think. And I was like, please let me in. And they did, thankfully. And it's just been an eye opener because finding your ideal client, like, it's just something I wish I had known 10 years ago. Like, if I had known that 10 years ago, I can imagine how rich I'd be right now. Like, I can imagine how, less work I would have had to done by now. It's just like shoot less weddings and how less of a headache, and to just find my passion and be fulfilled sooner, you know. So really that's how it all started. But I'm very blessed to end up where I had today.
Amazing. Oh my gosh, we just got brought through this incredible journey of like realizing that this whole side of the market exists through associate shooting. That I'm sure was such an eye-opening experience, as you said. And then, kind of leaning into some planner relationships, and like honestly, like huge kudos to that planner for being honest with you. Like
Yes.
that's amazing. To really be able to, like, you can tell that she wants you to win and she was really trying to sell
Mhm.
for you. But yeah, we kind of say that like the branding is everything, and being able, like, you just weren't quite speaking to that level of client. Where now, your business has seen such transformational things. You just rolled out new headshots. You have a beautiful new banner on your site. Like your copy's looking dialed in. And I know that you're rolling out a whole new website pretty soon. It's really cool to see all the pieces of the puzzle come together for you. Um, and yeah,
Yeah, it's crazy how fast, like, even though we started a few months ago, like in the fall, it's just crazy how much growth we've had since then. Like, that what could have took, a few months has taken me all this time. So I highly recommended people to take the course because it really does open your mindset and give you a new perspective on it. Um, that I wish I would have had, because back then there was no education. There was no, I think, Ray Roman was the only one, but he didn't really, I went to one of his workshops, I think it was in 2018. And even then it was like he was the only one doing it. And I think the film poets even went to one of their workshops. I could be wrong, but I think they did. And Larev did. And it's like there was nothing. So all of this like education we have now, like, so blessed. And y'all are doing amazing things. So
Oh, thanks. Well, honestly, like it's students like you who take what we teach and apply it and then like start seeing those wins pile up on their end. Like that's what fuels Kelly and I, and that's what like makes us want to do this. Um Believe it or not, like I don't know, having the podcast and the Instagram and the Facebook group and the mastermind, like it's a lot of work. Like it's a full-time job for Kelly and I, but we are
yeah.
so happy to do it because we know that it's making such an impact on filmmakers and photographers just like you who are able to rise to that level. So now you can have more weekends back with your beautiful little family and make more money. Like you had said before, like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be rich. It's like, yeah, let's
Yeah.
start. Like it's not a bad thing to chase money or to prioritize money, because thinking of all the things that it can do for your life
Mhm.
makes it like a worthwhile thing to chase, if it's done for the right reasons, right? Can
Right.
you kind of paint us a picture of like maybe the last 12 months or so? Like where were you in your business sitting like early 2023? And then how is that looking 12 months in the future? So now.
Okay. Yeah. So 2023, I last year was actually really hard. It was probably one of my hardest years because I got pregnant in September 2022. So yeah, I had my baby in June. So last year I didn't really put in much like effort. I didn't have much motivation. I was one of those that was like laying on the couch every day during my pregnancy, eating brownies from Chick-fil-A, like it was that sort of thing. So it was like I had editing to do. I was editing for the Film Poets a little bit, and it was really hard. And I feel like I shot a few like 34 weeks pregnant. And this is funny. I had about 5 weddings around my due date that I had booked before I found out I was pregnant, of course. And they're all in the summertime. Like who like I never get summer weddings. I was like, what? You know. So I actually this this is what I recommend you doing if you have run across this problem. If you get pregnant and you can't shoot these weddings around your maternity leave, I got Matt from the Film Poets to actually lead shoot those weddings for me. It was expensive, but it was so worth it in the end because these were like that relationship with that planner I had. I couldn't, let that slide. So I hired him to help me out. And in the end, didn't really make hardly anything off those weddings, but it was worth it to just have it covered by someone that I trusted. And that was honestly better than me. So yes, recommend doing that. And I think I picked it back up. I probably shouldn't have had, but 4 weeks postpartum, I picked back up. I had a wedding in July. So after a year of just like not being in it, not really being motivated, and honestly just not even working. I had a side gig on the side where I had a real estate photography company. I'm sure a lot of us do, but it's an easy money, and I started it when I was in college. So that was bringing in some income. I had a photographer doing that for me, but it was, I just couldn't, it was hard to edit even like just to do that. So, uh, once I think I hit about 4 months postpartum was when I was like, okay, I got to get out of this. I got to do something. So that's when I picked up the course and started.
Yeah, it's
Amazing.
hard. Yeah, and it's hard when you have, I have two little ones, so I've gone through two separate seasons of doing, shooting pregnant, even up to
Hmm.
38 weeks on with my last one. Um, and going back, like you said, I went back like a couple days before she turned 1 month old. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was wild. Um, but I think it also is, like you said, so nice when you can recognize when you need to preserve a relationship and also preserve your reputation and portfolio by,
Hmm.
like you said, you're like, I invested in this really great team to shoot for me and cover for me, and I didn't make much money, but like that is such a worthy investment to again maintain your
Hmm.
relationship, maintain or relationships, reputation, have, more beautiful work to show in your portfolio. And so that's like I think that's one thing that I think people can kind of Taylor always says too, she likes to hire second shooters that are just more talented than she is.
Yeah.
It's
And
true.
that
Yeah.
it's just like a great little hack.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. I will not spend less. Like if I'm hiring you to second shoot for me, definitely not less than 1,000. Like you got to be worth it for sure. But Matt, I'll just say it. He was like 2,400. I was like,
Mhm.
oh gosh, but it was worth it. It was so worth it. So, and the
Yeah.
couple love their film, so I wouldn't have it any other way. And the client was, I mean, the planner was happy. She shot with Matt prior, so she was like, oh my gosh, can't wait. So.
That's cool.
Amazing.
Yeah. So, what does your business look like today? I know that we have really big things on the horizon with, some rebranding, and Kelly mentioned new headshots. But
Yeah.
before all those things officially are launched out into the world, like what is Summer Films looking like now? Like, how many weddings do you have on the books? What's your pricing like now? Give us the details.
Okay, yeah. So we definitely have a whole new look. I feel like it's definitely way more me. It's more I have like the I'm a beige girl, I like the like natural tones and the greens and the browns and but that's just kind of like a backdrop of the films that I want to shoot. It can be color, it can be, whatever. It just I'm the more story driven uh romantic couple. Like I love that. I love I love doing interviews in my films. Like I just love any kind of way of telling their story. So with that, I got new headshots. And we just wanted to look more elevated because the last ones I have, I think I was like in a sweater. It was kind of sad, but they're elevated now. I got my power suit. So I almost have my website done. I'm working with a show it designer with Grace and Gold. You probably have heard of them, but they're awesome, and it's been so worth the investment to just like load it off onto them because wow, I didn't realize how like every single detail just like means something. Even the font, like the font like serif or whatever like means something. So just let them do the job. Don't put it on yourself. It's so worth it. So yeah, they're almost done with my homepage. So I'm gonna have that hopefully launch soon. And then as far as like bookings go, I think with like everyone else, it's a slow year so far. So I think I only have like 3 weddings. So yeah, it's really, really slow, but praying that the rebrand will help me. I will take that next step to reaching out to planners and DMing them once I have that portfolio website and everything. So I'm planning on having a good year. Even though right now it's like a little scary, but it'll be okay. And then yeah, my husband, he actually was my second shooter. But he didn't love it as much as I did. So he's gonna do his own thing, and I'm just gonna like start hiring out people from now on out. So it was a husband and wife team, but now it's just me. So yeah, it's
That's
Cool.
fine.
okay.
And
Kelly
that's
is a
okay.
husband and wife. I'm by myself.
Yeah,
You can do it. It's kind of
yeah.
fun to have your own baby sometimes, I'm sure. Um,
Yeah. It prevents a lot. I being the lead shooter, I feel like I'm so bossy to him. So I'm like, I'll go easy on you now. So I
That's
don't think
funny.
he minds it.
So you have 3 weddings on the books right now.
Yeah.
We're in about February, so that's totally okay. Um, there's so much time to like continue booking. I mean, out the fall, and I'm even personally starting to like I'm getting a lot of inquiries for May, which is literally
Mhm.
just like 3 months away, guys.
Mhm.
I think one thing to understand is that when you do start to raise your prices and attract a new level of clientele, it's more common that you book less far out in advance. So that's just like a natural behavior of that market is to not have to book 18 months out or anything like that. Like I personally don't want to book 18 months out. I have no idea what my life is going to look like in 18 months. So
Mhm.
it has actually a little bit more freedom as much as it feels kind of scary to have, a completely open August right now.
Yeah.
You know that it's going to come and it's going to fill in. And so what's kind of your target then for yourself now with like the price point that you're at?
Yeah. So I start now. My average last year was 7,200. So that's gonna be my starting price this year. Um and it kind of goes all the way up to 11,000. So trying to get more like, more entry level luxury for sure. And then I'm gonna end up there in the mid luxury and everything, but taking the steps to get there. Yeah, I since I am in the Southeast, I want to shoot more Southeast like destination films with like Charleston and just the, 30A, the kind of whatever the Lux market is. And there's some in Atlanta, but it's not really my vibe. I like the more like East Coast sort of thing. So um hoping to get hooked up with some of those planners and start building a relationship. And yeah, yeah, that's my goal. So
love it.
Amazing.
Yeah, you're like following our framework and our formula like to a T, and it's so fun to watch it happening in real life. Like We teach, we teach the branding, the ideal client. We teach the social media. We teach how to like go out and pursue planner relationships. And like it's like watching like we're like coaches and you're our athlete and you're like running the race like as we like taught you to do it and we're like, go
Yeah.
Summer, go. Like
Yes,
yes, you are
yes.
going to reach that mid-level luxury. Like we just know it. Like you have it in you and you've come so far already. Like just imagine what another like 24 months is going to do for your business. It's going to be just absolutely incredible.
So, Summer, I have a question for you because I think a lot of people kind of hold themselves back because of this preconceived idea that luxury is not in their backyard, that they don't live in an area of the country where luxury events exist. You know, you've said that you're in Birmingham, Alabama. Did you ever experience anything like that? And how did you kind of overcome that to now really scale into that market?
Yes. So if you can't tell from my accent, I'm actually from like the deep woods of Alabama. Like my family like kills deer, eats them. Like it's, it's not redneck, but it's like close. So it's yeah, I it was like at first, Birmingham was the closest so I could get to like weddings that I didn't have to shoot under $1,000, that sort of thing. So at first I was like, yeah, I don't know if this is gonna really be good for me. I mean, in college, of course, it was great. It was $1,000 or 2,000. Like that was great. That was rent back then. Rent was a lot cheaper, so it was maybe like 3 or 4 months of rent. So, uh, I, you know, even now that I know the luxury market more, I can kind of see like the trend of these private, like at home weddings in Alabama. And there's some good, like these like hidden places like Fairhope. I don't know if guys know where that is. It's close to Mobile. But it's got some money and there's, Mountain Brook, north of Birmingham, even Huntsville, like these little tiny areas where like these people live and they have, they hire these big planners to just set up a huge tent at their own like estate, their house. So I've kind of seen that like become more of a trend in Alabama where, it's not so much destination, like people are getting married at their houses now. So that's nice. Uh, so yeah, even though I'm kind of close to Atlanta and I did shoot for uh I did some associate work in Atlanta for another photographer slash videographer. Um and there's so many that dude in Atlanta. So I'm like, I don't know. Because with the film background, there's everybody's a wedding videographer there when they're not working on a set. So I do like the Alabama market, and I like that we have the beach so close to us, especially like Alice Beach, Rosemary Beach. Uh, and if we want to go to Nashville, it's not too far. So yeah, I at first it was like this is I don't know if I'm gonna have to like move out to California or something to shoot these kind of weddings, but honestly, they're just as beautiful, and I don't know. I
And
think
the budgets are there. Like you don't have
yeah,
to like, I think, and I know you talked about like, oh, it's kind of a trend, but I almost wonder if those events always existed, but maybe
true.
you just hadn't like really quite recognized that they
That's
were
true.
actually happening.
Yeah.
Because that's the biggest thing is like awareness is key, that these are really
Mhm.
happening in your backyard. Um,
Yeah.
and that you can make it work whether you want to go and travel, if that sounds fun for you. If you're listening to this and you're like, I'm okay to move out of like my local market and seek, higher end clients with bigger budgets. It sounds fun to travel. That can totally be doable. It sounds like Summer, you're really open for that.
Mhm.
But like you now have like pinpointed these pockets with the right awareness that luxury is in your backyard, like there in your home state, in your area. And, it is hard to, when you don't really come from a family background where that is just a part of your way of life. Like that's how Paul and I grew up. Like I talk about how like growing up, like everybody went to the ceremony and then it was like, okay. And the pastor's like, everybody grab a chair and move it over to the reception. Like those were the weddings that like Paul and I experienced. And that's what we thought weddings were. And so when we started off, we didn't also have that awareness. And here we are in California. The budgets aren't, every single budget isn't over $10,000. There are
Mhm.
different pockets too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think some people also like there's this like strange thought process that they think if it's not happening in your actual like zip code, then it's not local also. So like I will say like I live in Roseville, California, and there's no way I could charge more than $2,500 or $3,000 probably in Roseville, but just a short hour drive away
Yeah.
to Napa, like the closest side to Napa or to Tahoe, like then I can charge 18,000 and no one bats an eye too. So it's like it's okay to look outside of your city, out of your county. Like chances are like there is some place within a drivable distance to nearly everybody, at least in the US, where this level of events are accessible to you. It is now just your job to decide that's what you want to do. And then it's your job then to devise a plan and actually execute it like Summer has so that you can make that possible for you. Because I don't think that any amount of like wishing or hoping or dreaming is ever going to get you to what you want to achieve. You have to set out a plan and follow through on that plan, which is, I think, something that a lot of people can experience a bit of like a deer in the headlights moment because there's all these directions that you can be pulled. It's and then it's things that seem really exciting and flashy, like, oh, maybe if I just go viral on Instagram one time, that's going to solve all my problems. Or, oh, if I just get that one wedding on my portfolio, that's going to do it. And it's like, okay, first of all, going viral isn't going to do anything. We had a whole podcast episode about that. But like all of these things are like great in theory, but you really need every cog in the wheel to be strong and to be activated in your business in order for that wheel to spin forward towards your goal, right? Like if there's a
Yeah.
broken spoke, then you're not going anywhere. And that's why we created the luxury framework. That's why we created the luxury mastermind to truly create this well-rounded like business course meant specifically for photographers and filmmakers in the wedding industry to get to that next level. Like that's the entire purpose. And Summer, I think that you'd agree, like we really don't leave any leaf unturned. Like we are talking about everything and we don't hold anything back. Kelly and I are total like open books. And it's so fun. Like we love reviewing websites. We love answering all the questions. Like we are truly like um this is like a weird thing to say. We're like elbows deep in like everyone's businesses. We're like,
No,
let's
yeah, I
put in the
love
work.
it. I love how I can just like, and you guys have for those that don't know, I like an alumni after your mastermind class, alumni Facebook group, and just like asking a question, like, and y'all answer it. It's like, what? It's like, really? You just do that for me? Like, that's so sweet. I appreciate that. Like, it's just like you have like almost a mentor like every day. So nice.
Once you're
Good.
in,
We're
you're
glad
in.
you're in.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy I was over on your website and I recently did a little audit of people's cover films just to kind of like go through and be like, and it was honestly like so fun. Like I even got like Paul involved and I'm like, all right, Paul, watch this. And he would just be like, yes, yes, no, no, yes, yes. Like as far as like what is going
Yeah.
to like attract a high-end client or like this is really good. This needs to be farther up on your like thing. And I
Mhm.
went on your website, and you changed it. So it started off with like that beautiful, like, dress with like the floral print, which is like really popular right now in the luxury market. And so it's just, I don't know. I just think it's so, so helpful to have outside eyes on your business.
Yes. Yes. Asking my husband, he'll be like, yeah, looks great. I'm like, no, not everybody thinks that. So asking everybody else has been like, oh, it's been such a big help just to have other eyes on it, like you said. Especially people that know what they're talking about and not just like, I could ask my friends and they'd be like, sure, it looks cool. But you guys have been such a big help. Like, you have no idea.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I know that 2024 is going to be such an amazing year for you. I think a lot of people, and it's so good to hear too. And I think that we can all, I love the transparency of people saying like this year's feeling a little bit slower. Um, and that's okay. Sometimes like the best things come out of slower seasons, right?
Yeah.
Being able to spend some more time working on your business and looking at the back end of what spoke might be broken in the process. And if it's something where you feel like you can't quite pinpoint it yourself and you're on that hamster wheel, I think that's a great time to like be able to be a part of a group of mentors that can like guide you and have those outside eyes on your business.
Yes, I agree. Please don't, like, everyone needs to know, like, if you really want to get in the luxury industry, this is really worth it because you have obviously you two helping and then so much like content. And I'm still watching my videos now that you guys sent out and still learning because you don't, you guys go through the videos, but like not all of it. So it's like there's still little nuggets to be found that I still need to watch. So I don't know, even like the people that I've met through the group and just watching them grow has been it's so fun. Like, oh my gosh, you've done this, you booked this wedding 12K, that's awesome to cheer other people on too. Um, I've done another course and honestly I just couldn't keep up because it was just too big and this is like way more intimate and I feel like everyone like you actually get to know each other. So I like it. I like the small group feel to it.
So do we. So do we. And we are so excited if you're listening to this as it's coming out in February. We're actually getting ready to open the doors to Mastermind again next month. And we would love to have you join us if you're listening. And if any of this is resonating with you, if you want to learn more, you can go to thelevelupco.com/RSVP because you have the opportunity to save your seat right now. As Summer mentioned, she wanted in on round one and unfortunately it sold out. And then
Yeah.
she wanted in on round two and we said, okay, you can come in even though technically the doors had closed. So we don't want that to happen
Yes.
to you. So we began this RSVP program so that if there's people in between mastermind groups, like if people know like, okay, I want in on the next one, go save your seat. You have a guaranteed seat inside when we officially open the doors to everyone. And we hope to see you in there. Summer, this has been an amazing conversation. We want to thank you for spending this 45 minutes with us. It's been really inspiring, and I hope that this message, touched a lot of people. I know it did me, and it kind of like reinvigorated a little bit of excitement for me in my year. And if they're not already following you, where can they find your beautiful work and say hi?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram at the Summer Films. My business is called Summer Films, but somebody had took it. So the Summer Films, and then the website is also the Summer Films. So yeah, go give me a follow and we'll be friends. Let's connect.
Thank you for joining us in today's conversation. Please help us reach more filmmakers and photographers like you by taking a screenshot and sharing it to social media. And don't forget to tag us at The Level Up Co.
And join us again next week, same time, same place, as we continue to level up the industry together.